Well, hello and welcome everybody to Behind the Music. Again, it's me, Jeff, and from Birmingham, England, well, Walsall, England, and I'm joined with my co-host, the ever-faithful, ever-present Clive Sinclair. Clive, do you want to say?
Hi, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here and happy to be doing this show, and it's great to have you back with us. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. We've got a great guest for you today, a fantastic musician, someone who's actually quite unique in a very special way, who has actually overcome quite a lot of adversities and yet has made proof of his anointing within sort of the music industry. So we're going to bring him in shortly, but I just want to welcome everybody that's listening around the world. You may be listening live or you may be listening on a catch-up. We just want to welcome you and say that today we hope that the guest will bring a special blessing to you and that you will really enjoy our conversation today. Clive, anything to add before we bring our guest in?
Yeah, well, like you said, this guest is unique. This guy has overcome so many obstacles, and he's just down to earth, just a genuine guy. And this guy's fun as well. I can tell you, I've heard some things. This guy can be a bit of he's fun. But listen, without going on too much, I just want to say, look, we want you to be blessed throughout this show, and we hope you really enjoy listening to this interview. As I said, this guy is so unique. So we are going to introduce our guest for this week, Mr. Jeremy Jeffers, live from the USA. Mr. Jeffers, are you there?
And the crowd goes wild.
Hey! I told you, this guy's a comedian, man. Jeremy, welcome. Welcome to Behind the Music.
Thanks for having
me here in the UK.
Invite, man.
So listen. You're being interviewed by two guys from England, and
I've made it. I'm worldwide now. What?
Hey, listen, man.
I'm just playing.
Well, Jeremy, look. You know what? It could be tea with the Queen. You never know.
Hey,
Hey, listen, man.
Gotta
opportunity knocks, man.
Yeah, man. I got to take a couple of what are those classes where you do everything the right way? You know.
Oh yeah, etiquette classes.
I gotta take a couple of those because I don't want to come correct with the Queen, but yeah, I'm open to it for sure.
Hey, man. So, Jeremy, listen. You ever been to the UK?
I have not. I think the furthest I've been is Cuba. But yeah, I haven't been to the UK just yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to coming for sure.
Okay, man. Listen. Well, look, I'm going to hand over to Jeff, and we're going to get into it.
Let's get it.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. It's good to meet you. Jeremy, what we'll do is just start off a little bit about your background, your life. I know you have a very interesting story, and people can actually catch up with this as well, sort of on the social media. But Jeremy, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your humble beginnings, and where you're at now.
Well, we don't have to go over the name, right? Everybody should know it by now.
Yeah.
Jeremy Jeffers. I'm from Los Angeles, California. Like they said, I had a couple of obstacles. I was born with retinopathy of prematurity, and because I was born premature, at 3 weeks I had a leg amputation. However, what some consider setbacks, I try to look at as opportunities for people to understand and know that God is He's faithful. Promises and just because the package is a little flawed in some people's eyes doesn't mean that the package isn't valuable. So
wow. That's a good way of putting it.
I think for me, just overall, I just want people to understand and know that wherever you are, you know, be grateful. Wherever you are, be thankful, and wherever you are, you know, just know that, you know, God is in control, and you know, He'll bring you through for sure.
Fantastic. Jeremy, listen, I don't want to start preaching, but I'll tell you what, you said something that's really touched my bones. I've just come from a youth event right now, just before this radio station. And one of the things they were saying is that they were bringing up the story of Joseph. And if you remember what happened to Joseph,
Oh yeah.
And wow, you've got a story in that regard. I mean, he had so many misfortunes, but in the end, you know, he said that this was all for your good. And we don't know what God's doing in the background, but I tell you what, it's fantastic to have you along. If you just tell us a little bit about, I know that you also studied music, and somebody spotted some talent somewhere along the line. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. I think my first I've always been. I, my parents say that I came out as a musician because I was kicking my mom's back all the time, and I wanted to come out. So basically, you know, my upbringing, you know, was basically them trying to keep me out of the cabinets from playing the pots and pans. Yeah.
Wow.
Good set in the house because I'm always trying to take them out, beat on something. But I think my formal introduction was when I knew I had something to offer, or something that's special. I was in elementary school and I was offered. They offered music classes back then. I don't know what they're doing now, but I hope they get back to that. But they had music in the schools back then, and my elementary school teacher, basically, she had a section where you come in and you can pretty much play whatever you want to. The room had a piano, an organ, a drum set, and a selection of wind instruments, trumpets and flutes and recorders and things like that. So she would just let you come in and, hey, whatever you want to play, you can play it. And I got the opportunity to, of course, play a real drum set, and I was hooked from that day. And I got, I've always been around music, so I flirted with the piano, and I started playing the trumpet back in those days.
Trumpet, wow.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth with it now. I want to get back to it, but
Wow.
So listen, so it's more than just the keyboards, more than just piano that you play then?
Yeah.
Wow. So how many instruments are we talking about?
I mean, again, I claim piano and drums right now. I at one point I played trumpet really well. I can play it, but not as well as I used to because I have to go through an embouchure change. Going through that, but yeah, piano, trumpet, and I'm a bass player at heart. I don't know what I'm doing with a bass guitar, but put a bass program in front of me and I can fake it really.
Wow. So listen, that means you must be pretty bad on the bass synth then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I knew it. I think that's one of the things every bass player really should try and learn. For me, it's just alien because it's like keyboards, and I think to me it's like learning to play the keyboards, that's pretty alien to me.
It opens up a lot.
Yeah.
Learn to play it, honestly.
Completely different style, and a completely different skill set.
Oh yeah,
the technique and everything. Yeah. But listen, you were talking about your elementary school. You I noticed you put that down in your bio. Mrs. Travis.
Yep.
So do you attribute her to very much part of the foundation of where it began for you?
Oh, I give her credit because, I grew up in church, and the church that I grew up in, they had like 3 or 4 drummers.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily get as much opportunity in that avenue, you know, they want to show love and show you opportunity, but at the same time, it's got to be right. So I started in church, but I didn't really get to I didn't really get the playtime. So
Okay.
in school, like I said, they gave you a whole hour to just do what you want to do. Outside of the regular curriculum, you know, they had a day where you can come in and you have a whole hour to kind of just, you know, if you want to play drums, play drums. If you want to play piano, you play that. So I definitely give her credit for allowing me the opportunity to explore the passions. Yeah, definitely.
Jeremy, can I just ask you, are we talking kind of mainstream school here, or is this sort of schools that cater for people's different abilities and disabilities or whatever?
At the time, it was the latter. At the time, I was going to schools that specialized in working with people with disabilities, such as, you know, visual impairments or mental impairments. So at the time, I went to a school called Francis Blend Elementary. They were a school in Hollywood. I don't know if they're around or not anymore, but yeah, I went there.
Wow. And to what extent then do you think that I mean, it sounds to me like this probably created an opportunity for you to almost like sort of find your gifting within music. I mean, would that be a fair statement
I would,
or
yes, because again, I don't think. I mean, I've heard stories of musicians that went to public school and they found their way. You know, the parents rent the instruments and you go home and you play them. But I don't think that. Um, I don't think that would have been my story. Although it is my story, I would have been the same. I don't think I would have had the same opportunity to do what I did in public school as I did in that situation. So I would say, yeah, I credit. It's definitely different, but it's in some ways it's similar. You know,
yeah.
they allowed you to rent the instrument and take it home, but yeah, I didn't get. You don't get the hour in public school. You play with the rest of the kids. You don't get to play. You don't get that opportunity. So
Sure. And it sounded like to me the kind of church experience that I think a lot of church musicians get. If you don't cut your teeth quite early and make your mark, you'll soon get moved on, man.
Yeah, man. I was just gonna say that, you know.
it's a thing, and unfortunately now we're at a level in this music thing where people are coming out playing, and
Yeah,
you got
definitely.
you got 4-year-olds making grown men questioning their life decisions. It's getting crazy. So, but back then, you kind of had to, you know, I grew up in a Baptist church, and you know they wanted you to play, but again, you had to deal with the people that were in the positions, and
Sure.
you have your day, and on that day, like I said, there are 3 or 4 of the drummers that you have to kind of work with. So you don't get playing time; you get a song if you're lucky.
So, Jeremy, so were you involved in like music at church? Were you involved, like, you know, like choir or even with in the band in any shape or form?
Growing up, like my elementary school years, I was in the children's choir,
Okay.
but that wasn't my aspiration in life, and I was
No.
the only reason why I was in the children's choir because I wanted the opportunity to play the drums. So I would do it, but
So coming up through the ranks, as to say.
yeah, so I would do it, but the whole time I'm trying to get to that drum set. I'm not really focused on the singing thing. So yeah, I mean, I was involved, and I've been involved in church all my life, so you know,
Okay.
it's been a thing.
So listen, the thing I wanted to ask you now, the Braille Institute. So how did that help you from when you left elementary school now, and now you've entered the Braille Institute? did that more or less take you up like a few levels now? What was that help? What was that service? What did that service offer you? What did it do for you in terms of your musical ability and just your whole well-being?
I think for me, Braille Institute was good for me all the way around because it gave you an opportunity to participate in a lot of activities. I was there from elementary, maybe all the way up to the end of middle school, but as far as musically, again, I'm in the choir. I sang in that. They had a lady come in and she taught choir, so I was in there, and you know, she had the kids play. She had us play a game. Basically, we have to guess the notes, and of course, there's incentive candy.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I want the M&Ms. So
so all of a sudden now you're pitch perfect because you want the M&Ms.
Yeah, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know it was a thing. You know, I'm just like guessing notes. That, you know, one of my favorite games was Simon. You know, the little game with the light, pitch or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, this is like Simon, but in real life. So I'm like, yeah, cool. But it got to the point where she's like, you got to stop playing because you're making everybody feel bad and nobody can.
So listen, Jeremy, listen, because that's actually now working very well for you.
Absolutely.
Having that fine-tuned ear.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, last week, unfortunately, I want to apologize for those who may have been trying to watch last week's show. There is an issue. It will be resolved. But listen, we had Reggie Parker last week.
Reggie Parker. Yes.
Hey, man, listen, I've been following that guy for 30 years, you know.
He's amazing.
My kids grew up on Love Fellowship Crusade Choir.
Come on. Come on.
And they're now married, and I'm a grandfather, you know what I mean? And the thing is that Reggie mentioned you in the show. So we were discussing his latest album, Triple OG, yeah?
Right.
And then he drops it on us that not only did you play on the album, but you also mixed the album.
Wow.
And I'm saying, woo. I had to ask him, say that again. You know, so that was one of the reasons why, you know, I said, listen, we have to get you on the show. And in fact, Reggie agreed. He dropped me a text and said, you know, listen, we're gonna make this happen. Because that gifting that you have, where you hear notes so precisely and so intuitively, it's second to none. And I think it's one of those things that I believe every producer, every musician, every sound engineer, every songwriter would love to hear. And there you were playing a game with it from elementary school, when the teacher's got to say, whoa, Reggie, stop. So, I mean, Jeremy, stop, because these other kids, they can't hear what they're hearing. So as soon as she said, what note is that? You got put in, and they're thinking, oh, what was that? What was that? They're like days behind you, you know? And here you are now. I mean, tell it, how does that work for you now? I mean, right now, you know, if you're producing or mixing a track, you know, and let's just say somebody sends you something and they say, oh, it's kind of okay, I just need to do this, do that. But then you're hearing all the off notes, all the bad notes, and so forth and do that. So do you like get involved in a lot of editing and things like that as well? Because you'd be good at that.
The beautiful thing about mixing is, in a way, people don't know this, but in a way, not only are we mixers, but we're producers. So we have, well, depending on the artist, we have a lot of leeway in what we can do. And Reggie was just kind of like, you know, I'm not really too much tripping off of what you do, just make it sound good. So, you know, use of the mute button was definitely and
So
couple
don't tell me there was some bad notes. Nah.
I mean,
Oh man. Well, you know what? It's gonna happen, isn't it? It's never not gonna happen.
But it's just I'm the type of guy that'll call you and kind of like, hey, this is what it is. Here's my suggestion, and whatever you decide to do, we gonna roll with it. Yeah, you definitely you hear a lot. You don't hear the whole. You can hear the track as a whole, but you get the opportunity to really dive in to the makings of the track, because you get to see if people really took the time to make sure they get a good recording, or they just sat down and said, let me record this on my iPhone with no amp, or I'm just saying hypothetically, you get to hear all of it. So and your job is to kind of clean up the audio as best you can and make it sound as best you can. So which is why I at the moment it's at the moment I don't do it for everybody, because I have to love it. I have to love it.
Yeah.
I have to love it. If I don't love it, then it's gonna, it's not gonna be fun. But it was definitely fun mixing Reggie's stuff. I'm like the first time getting the song, I'm like, yeah, this is.
Yeah. Well, listen, you sent us a clip, okay, that caused Reggie to discover you, and we've got that clip. I'm hoping we can get it ready, but we want to run that clip, and this is what Reggie heard, and then he actually pursued you. He actually went looking for you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So just explain this clip we're going to show. Yeah. So what is the background behind this clip? So what was actually happening? Is this in church? Is this like a shut-in or something, or what?
Back when people were allowed to fellowship together in close spaces. Now, but pre-COVID, we had this thing out in LA called the NAMM Show.
Okay.
And that's just basically the national conference for, I forget what it's called, but basically all the vendors and music manufacturers together in one building, and they're basically selling.
Okay.
So there was that, and there's a guy named Doobie Powell, and he throws basically a shed every year after the NAMM Show. It's all weekend, but he picks a day and he throws a shed out here all once a year for the NAMM Show. Like a lot of musicians are out here. So I decided that year I was going to go. I've never been before, so I went, and naturally, you're a musician, you're going to try and get up there and play.
Yeah. So this was spontaneous for you?
Yep.
Okay, listen, we got the clip. Jeff, we got this clip. We're going to run the clip. Let's run the clip.
All right.
shaking my head, man. I'm like, is this? So let me get this right. This guy was trying to make sure it sounded like you couldn't follow him. Jeez. But you gave him a run for his money, man, because he gave up in the end. Oh my days, Jeremy.
That was fun.
Man.
That was fun. For the record,
I think in our day, man, we call that big. So there's some big fat chords in there, man. I tell you, it really is just really coming through. And how do you? What inspires you to blend in that way? Is this stuff that you've heard that you just tweak, or is it stuff that you found yourself? But Jeremy, what's going on?
I think it's a mixture of everything. You know, if you just listen, you'll be surprised at what you find and come up with. So, you know, I listen to a lot of music. You know, and on top of listening, I try to figure stuff out. So I guess it's a mixture of the two. You know, I find something I like, I put it in the bag, and you know, and it comes out the way it comes out. But yeah.
But how you followed that guy's vocals with your interpretation, of his riffing, that's what we call on point. Because I'm watching. I mean, listen, if you saw my face on my hands, I mean, there was a point I was saying, yeah. Then you went to the high notes, and they were saying that, and then I just thought, oh my God, I'm just shaking my head. In fact, my hands are going, no. That ain't natural. That's not natural. And the way you just, it's like every time, every little once in a while, it's like you're just shutting it down. Then this guy comes back with a little more riffing, and then you go. Then you come out, so then you just shut that down. Then he comes back with a little bit more riffing until the end. In the end, he says, "Man, I'm all out, man. I ain't got no more. I ain't got no more." And yet you have more to give. That's the gift that we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the gift right there that we're talking about. And I can understand now, after watching this, when you sent it the other day, when I watched it, I could understand straight away why my man Reggie had to get you involved in his. I mean, I would have to say, probably if you were here in the UK, similar thing probably would happen, to be honest. In fact, I know for a fact that it would, because that is talent there. That is what you call raw talent. And the gifting and the anointing, man, when you're playing, whoo, my days. And the other thing I find is that's what's interesting is that when I was growing up, you had like Hammond players or you had piano players, you know, not necessarily, very few would cross over. Some guys were more comfortable on like the synth piano and so forth, brass and strings, things like that. And some guys are more comfortable on the Hammond. Yeah. There are some I know they can, but not a lot. And it's very rare you find one person does all well. You know, you're talking Hammond, you're talking main keys, you're talking bass synth, you know? Oh man, come on.
Yeah,
that's a gifting right there, Jeremy. That's God. In spite of all what you've been through, yeah. Look how you are impacting people's lives.
That part.
And that's why, you know, I said this was going to be an interesting show because I know Reggie told me you're a fun guy, you know what I mean? He said, watch out because you can clown about too when you're ready.
Most definitely. I'm here for it.
So you're down to earth guy, man. I mean, it doesn't matter what's happened to you, what you've gone through. It's not that you see light at the end of the tunnel. You're in the light all the time.
Ooh.
You're in it all the time, man. You're not looking for light at the end. You're in that light,
That's a
and
thing.
you are literally, God is literally blowing you up in that light.
That's crazy.
People can see you.
I never looked at it like that, man.
Oh man, listen, you're not one of these guys, that you got your head down, oh woe is me. No. You are in the light.
Yeah.
And that alone, yeah, is so encouraging, I think, to viewers that are listening, that have, may have similar disabilities or other disabilities, fellow musicians, man, listen, this is a great encouragement at what God can do.
Man, I'm just happy to be a part of the movement, man.
Yeah.
God didn't have to do it. God didn't have to do it for me, but I'm just happy to be in the number. That's all.
Amen. Listen. So what are you working on now? So let me. I wanted to ask, actually, before we ask that. So when you mixed Triple OG, obviously you played on some of those tracks. Yeah.
Yep.
So when you first got involved with that project, and you really didn't know who Reggie was, but you knew of Love Fellowship Crusade Choir. So you didn't really know what kind of style was going to come your way through this project, did you?
No, I knew he was like, man, I'm interested in working with you, and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in working as well. I like working. I like money. So
Hey man, don't we all, man? Don't we all?
but so I when he sent the first track, I'm like, oh man, this is wow, this is amazing. And it's funny because the thing that you hear is not what he sent me. Like he sent me a bass line with a melody and a drum track, like a basic drum track.
Really?
Play over this. I said, oh, okay. I'm like, all right. So, he it was just like, here, play over this. No direction, no. He's like, he didn't even have a preference. He's just like, do something with some Rose and some organ or something. I'm like, okay.
That's interesting, because listening to the album, here's the thing. Now, when he explained to me that the way the album was compiled was basically, you do your bit in your corner, he did his bit in his corner, someone else did their bit on the corner. Because it does very much sound like it was a live album where you all came together, and yet it wasn't. And the way you've mixed it and made it sound, how it all comes together, you wouldn't know that it was a jigsaw that you got and you were connecting. You get what I mean?
Yep.
You don't see any joints. You just see a clear picture.
That's the job of a mixer. You got to make the picture as clear as you can. That's the job. So, I'm happy that people are seeing the picture. That's the job.
Listen, Jeff, I just saw a message there. Yeah, go on, Jeff.
Yeah, sure. I was going to say, Jeremy, for me, one of the things, just going back and watching that clip, the amount of people who were just like standing around, just like absolutely just like watching what you're doing. And I just wanted to just sort of tease out your thoughts on basically not just your gifting, but the influence that you have within your gifting. Do you ever kind of just like think about how powerful that is?
I mean, I'm humbled to know that people view. I'm humbled to know that people that look at what I do as valuable. I'm humbled in that. At the same time, because I'm on the other side of it, I'm like, because the same night, this guy Glenn Gibson played before me, and there was no organ left. I just so I'm humbled that people look at my gift as valuable. At the same time, I'm like, man, I have something to bring to the table. Don't get me wrong. I know I do.
Sure.
At the same time, there are so many gifts within the space. It's humbling. So, I don't know if I'm even answering the question correctly. I'm honored. At the same time, I look at myself as just a regular cat that's just trying to learn and grow. I don't see, and I'm working on that. I don't see the guy that everybody's like, oh my God. I don't see that. I'm just like, all right.
Just a regular guy.
And
that is such an amazing thing, because I mean, through doing this show, I've found that many people are so humbled by what they do. Humble because they know that their gifting is from God, and God just blessed them with that wonderful talent. And but yet in that humility, they're able to just exalt so much, and do so much in such in such a very short time. They're able just to influence people so much. And I think that's a gift. I think that's a gift from God to be able to, and it's great that you're in that ministry doing that. And if you had to, if there was anybody you'd really love to play for, who or work with, who would that be?
Man, there's a lot of people that I would love to. Just one?
No, hey, listen, I'm not going to hold you back, man.
Just one? All right. I would love to work with Doobie again. That's one of the influences for me. Doobie's like, yeah, he got me into the
Tell us a little bit about Doobie. Who is Doobie? And
Doobie Powell, he's a Connecticut legend. When you think of the colorful chords that you heard, he's one who does it, and really well. He's a musician. He plays drums, keys. He produces. He's an artist. He's nice.
Oh wow!
I would love to work with him. There's an artist out called Her. I would love to work with her. And just recently, I saw a clip of what's her name? She's a gospel singer. I can't remember her name right now. Leandria. Okay. And I saw a clip of her band, and they're just, they're awesome. I was like, I could see myself doing something like this for sure. But I mean, I'm open to working with anybody and everybody that's creative and that has a good spirit and their music feels good. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah, you kind of threw me off with that number. There's so many people. I would love to work with Stevie once. I would love to work with. There's too many people. Too many people.
Listen, we're getting close to that time where we're going to have a little jam. And I know, Jerry. Okay, so Jerry, you want to do this reggae thing, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Can I ask a favor just before we do the reggae thing, Jeremy? Just give us a couple of your fat chords, man. That I just love with that vibe, which was just absolutely fantastic. And what equipment are you using there, Jeremy?
I have here. I play. I have two keyboards, but the favorite of the two right now is this Nord Stage 3.
The Nord, everybody loves the Nord.
Where the Nord is, the Lord is. That's all I have a Nord, then I have a Yamaha. So those are my main two keyboards that I work with. Yamaha, and both of them, I work with them because they're easy for me to get around without sighted assistance for the most part. Sure. And the Nord just sounds good. It just sounds good, man.
Which Yamaha have you got there, Reggie?
This is the Mo F.
Okay.
You know,
Is that from the Motif family?
yeah, it's basically a more affordable version of the Motif. They have the Motif. Well, they don't make the Motif anymore. I think they're up to the Montage now.
Okay.
But back when they were making Motifs, they were basically trying to take over the market. So they have the flagship, which is the Motif, and then they have the intermediate Motif, which is the Mo. So this is, I didn't need a flagship. I just wanted the sounds for the studio. So and a board that I could take around town and not have to worry about jacking people up if they. So,
oh gosh. But listen, all right, let's hear something, man.
All right, let's see.
Wow.
Nice, man. Nice.
Mellow.
Nice.
Fabulous.
Okay, so what are we going to do? Jeff, what are we doing?
No, I think we said we're going to do a little reggae number. Something everybody should know out there. I hope you're not breaking copyright in England. But we're gonna hit this. I think with an F sharp. I hope our guitar's tuned, and I think it's gonna be One Love, which people have probably heard. So I'm going to ask Jeremy, do you want to give us a start, man, and then we'll join you, and we'll just crack on for a little while.
You know, yeah, I'll do that.
Whoa, the masterful Jeremy Jeffers. Jeremy, that's fantastic, and we just love that. We just love it, and thank you so much for being with us today. Just in close, I love that. Where the Lord is, now where the Lord is, the Lord is. I love that, man.
The wisdom of Jeremy Jeffers.
I got it off of video, man. I can't take credit for that.
It's just fantastic. I just love that. I just love that. Jeremy, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, you go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just saying I can't take credit for it. I got it off of a video of a. It was a spoof video of a praise and worship leader telling he was telling the keyboard is all these things to do. It was just hilarious. I'm thinking of a sound. Can a sound be colorful? Can the sound be red? I'm like, oh, I know.
That is absolutely fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. Clive, over to you.
Yeah, so listen, obviously, you know, people can physically see your disability. How
No,
how do you keep yourself motivated and uplifted on a day-to-day basis? Because like I said, Jeremy, you know, you don't strike me as a guy that's trying to find light at the end of the tunnel or trying to find his way in life, in such as trying to find what he can put his hands to do. You strike me as a person that you know what you're doing, you've got a direction where you're going, you already know where you want to go, and you're already on your way. And like I said, you ain't looking for the light because you're in that light. But what motivates you? And tell us just a little bit in short, you know, what does God mean to you, and how does your faith keep you uplifted and keep you encouraged?
Man, I'm going to say something that's maybe a bit abstract, but you know, there's a verse in the Bible that says, "In Him I move and have my being."
Mm.
You know, without Him there is no me. So, in a way, you know, He decided to wake me up in the morning, and for me, it's as simple as that. I don't have it all together. You know, I'm still trying to figure the life thing out. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
You know, I have things that I like to do, music to do. At the same time, you know, we're all trying to figure out what our space is. You know, but at the end of the day and beginning of the day, God woke me up. So something for me to do. So I try to figure out what that something is for the day and go after that. You know, whether it's practicing or reaching out to somebody and encouraging them, or seeking encouragement.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, it starts with the opening of the eyes. If that makes any sense.
It does, because I know that you like to help others.
Absolutely.
In spite of, you know, and this is the point I was getting to, because you're very much community focused and you like to help others. And, you know, just talk to us a little bit about, you know, some of the things, not some of the things you do, but, you know, what drives you to want to be that way. Because some could easily sit back and say, you know, well, you know, I've got this wrong with me, I can't really do that. But you don't. In spite of, you're getting on with it, man.
Well, I wasn't raised that way. My mom and my dad raised me to kind of, you know, if you want to do something, care what it is. If we're going to do something, we're going to make sure that you do it, whether it's running or whatever. So I had a very supportive upbringing as far as that goes. But for me, I'm of the belief that, you know, you're given a gift and a talent to share.
Yeah.
It's not for you. It's for the people that are beside you and the people that are coming up after you. And honestly and truthfully, I don't want to leave here. I don't want to leave here half full or full. I want to leave here empty.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's the thing. But I really do. You know, I'm of the mind that, you know, you should leave something impactful. And that's pretty much the reason why I do what I do, because somebody else needs the knowledge. Somebody else needs to see it can. Somebody else wants to go after their dreams and they don't know how to go after it. And maybe they just need to see somebody that's trying and may not have the same facilities as them and have to work a little bit harder, but they're still to know that they can do it.
So all for making room for younger musicians and so forth, and encouraging them, and because I think that's one of the things when we were growing up, it probably wasn't like that.
No.
But now, you know, I thank God, you know, we're of a different mindset.
Man.
You know, maybe back then people couldn't see the opportunities or whatnot, but now we certainly do. And I thank God that, you know, you have that mindset and that willingness to not just serve, but serving in giving back as well, you know, and helping bringing others up as well, because that's very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Jeff, anything else you want to add, my brother?
Yeah, just to sort of say, it's just been a real pleasure, Jeremy, sort of speaking with you today, jamming along with you, and just listening to your story. And you know, if anything that you've said today, it's really resonated in my heart. It's about leaving something here, which is fantastic, sort of leaving a legacy of some sort, and something that people can enjoy, something that people can reflect on. But for me, it's about, I think, and very much comes over listening to your testimony, it's like leaving a word to say that God is able, despite myself or whatever, He is the one that gives me life and being. And I just thank God for what He has poured into your heart, because you've blessed us. So thank you very much indeed. God bless you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey man, listen, it's thank you, because it's been a real honor and it's been a privilege, really. And I don't just say that lightly, because you know, like I said, Jeremy, you are a person that I believe I don't think you realize how many people you affect and help. And in some ways, you know, you stay humbled, and I really believe God honors you for that, you know. And I really thank you for your gifting, man. Listen, the way you play keys, whoo,
Yeah, it's phenomenal, man.
listen, you know what, we're coming to the end of the show, and like, you know, we always say this, but we mean it, you know. We don't just want you on here one time, you know. We're hoping you will come back and share some more.
I'm not too far, even though I am far. I'm not too far.
Yeah, man. Thank God for the internet.
Especially now more than ever due to COVID. It's like we're relying on the internet to keep us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Whenever you need a
Yeah.
hater, or if you need to pull some whatever, I'm here, man.
Okay. I think next time, you know something, I think we're gonna have to probably get you and Reggie on together, because we didn't really get into the album too tough, to be honest. And to know that you mixed it and he wrote the tracks, I think at some point, if not before the end of the year, definitely next year, we will have to get both of you on this program,
I'm with it.
discussing that album and the work that went into it. And yeah, and then you can share a little bit more about what you mix. Listen, just before we go, what do you use? What package do you use to mix? Is it just Logic?
No,
GarageBand?
I'm of the mind that, okay, I will preface by saying I'm not necessarily the guy that's using the mainstream stuff. Stuff has gotten better as far as accessibility goes. However, at the time when I was coming up, it wasn't to the level. So when I started mixing Reggie's album, I was using a program called Sonar.
That's the one. I know that one, Cakewalk.
Yep.
Yeah.
So after a while, I was holding on to Sonar for dear life. I've been using Sonar for like 10 plus years now. And I was holding on to it for dear life, but my computer started to show its age, and Sonar isn't made anymore. At least the version that I used, it's not supported or made. So I was like, I need to make a switch here. So I ended up switching to Reaper, and now I'm using Reaper, and that, yeah, I love it. I love
Okay.
it.
Okay. Well, listen, we're out of time. Jeff, take us out, man.
Thank you very much, guys. Just want to say thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and just one big it up for our special guest, Jeremy Jeffers. God bless you, Jeremy.
Thank you, world. Good night.
Good night, Jeremy. Thank you, bro. God bless you.
God
Good
bless
night.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.